Coach, I don't know what kind of a relationship you have with Coach Schaefer. I don't know, if he reached out to you after you took this job, or if you've played against him while you were at Louisville, maybe. Or,
Yeah.
how well do you know him?
Yeah, and obviously, great relationship with. I wouldn't say great. I mean, obviously, big as far as in this business. Respect first and foremost. All right, Vic's been in this business for many years. All right, well thought of, future Hall of Famer. And then, like I've said, our relationship's been great now that we're both in the same conference. We got a little time to spend together down into the SEC head coaches meeting that we have every single year. Obviously, just again, a lot of respect for who he is. And then the cool thing about living in Starkville, again, this is a unique situation because he still lives here. He still has a home. I've been on plane rides coming back from recruiting with his wife, and then obviously with Blair, right? And I hope we give her the respect and the love that she deserves, just like we did with Johnny and other things, because we're a program of a class. She's alum, right? His kids graduated from here, so it's a unique situation. It's an awesome one that, again, I hope we give them the flowers that they deserve. But then, obviously, when the ball's tipped up, it's Mississippi State versus Texas.
Circling back to last week about the Title IX and
Yeah.
NIL situation, do you have any thoughts about that now?
I know. Sorry, Sam. I don't, man. I don't. I think you saw legislation today. You're starting to see more things come out. I think I'm going to hold off on that because there's still just a world of unknown, right? Everybody's trying to declare what's going to be, what percentage, what revenue. So I think it's a little early to answer that fairly, right? But I still love the question. But until I get more information from our athletic department and things as they continue to meet and chop things up, it's still just a world of unknown. So again, what I love this job is the resources we currently do have, all right? The commitment and the amount of money we put into our locker room, the trips that they fund for us to go to the Cayman Islands. We fly everywhere. We're treated like first class. So they haven't told me any of that's going to change in the future. So as long as they keep pouring money into this program and give my women opportunities, man, I'm as happy as I can be so I can go out and recruit the best players in the country.
Coach, you've obviously played top 5, top 10 teams before, but this one obviously a little different. What's your message to your team going to be to kind of calm down a little bit, maybe?
Not so much calm down as play to win. That was the message for Texas A&M is at this time of year, my favorite month is coming up, March Madness. And again, what a great opportunity for our program when you play at home against the number 1 team in the country. If you're a competitor, you love that. You live for that. So that's the message to my team. Obviously, we're not ranked, so we have nothing to lose, and then we're playing in front of the best fan base of the country in a whiteout. So that's my message to our fan base right now is, man, show up and show out loud. And I think we've done it before in the LSU game, which I talked about. I couldn't even get here because the crowd, the fans, the highway was packed. I literally walked out, all right, and I just had goosebumps. And I've said this from day one when I've taken that job. When this energy is like that, I'll take my chances with anybody in the world. And that's where I'm eager, really challenging our fan base, man. Let's do this. Let's do this with the number 1 team in the country coming out. And then our last home game here for the season where you can watch our team. You did a great job sending our seniors out right, so let's continue to try to finish this thing strong.
Hey, Coach, looking at the South Carolina game earlier this year, that's a game against a top 5 team, which you guys really controlled in that first half for a lot of the time. Is there anything from that game specifically looking at a team very similar in Texas that you guys can try and, emulate in that kind of game?
Yeah, well, that was great to your point because it was, 11-point lead, right? So it showed, again, I've said this all year, that if you're watching us, there's a lot of wow factor about our team that at moments that when we play really well, it's scary. So obviously we're going to have to play our best game, right? Because Texas is loaded with multiple All-Americans, returned experience. They're bought in. I think he's got as good a team as he's ever had that has a chance to win a national championship. So it's going to take a team collective effort. And then I think also for me, we're a team that continues because we've talked about this with new energy, new pieces, not many returned experience that we keep getting smarter and better. Right? And so I think, if anything, I've learned my team from that South Carolina game where I've got to sub more, right? Because in a game like this, you're going to have to give max effort. And it's those moments when you play these top 5 teams that, it's that one run that you got to try to prevent because their one run can really punch you in the mouth. And that's what happened in the South Carolina game. And we got to make sure it doesn't happen in Texas.
You just touched on it a bit, but what impresses you the most about this Texas squad and obviously the quality wins they've had over South Carolina, LSU, and a bunch of others?
Yeah, I think they've got extreme talent. Okay, I was looking at the roster the other day. You've got Kayla, Rory, Jordan, Justice, Aaliyah Moore, Madison Booker, all high school All-Americans. So there's talent, but there's one thing to be said about talent and how hard they play. And this group plays hard. They get after it on the defensive end. There might be times where they struggle on the offensive end, but every single night they're going to muck it up and they're going to make it ugly. So it's very impressive to watch on tape. There's a good chemistry about them. You can see that at least in games that they do a good job knowing who needs to take what shots, what everybody's role is, and being really sound and solid both offensively and defensively. So they can win ugly like they did the other night against Georgia, where it was, 50-something points? I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, but they give up 27, right? So, or they're able, if you want to run and gun, they can put up 100. So when you have a team that's flexible like that, that's, again, why they got a chance to win a national championship this year.
When you went back and watched some of the Texas A&M game from a few days ago, what
Yeah.
just stood out or kind of maybe impressed you about that performance?
A lot of things. Obviously, you want to come out great out the gate and get a big lead, and we didn't, right? We had a lead, but then you had some moments where you had some drop-offs, but it was that look in eyes for 4 quarters where they fought, right? And I think that's the moments where we've had failure, especially in the third and fourth quarter where we've had drop-offs, that didn't happen in the Texas A&M. I thought we played better in those quarters. So that was exciting to see after a week off, that the things that we talked about executing and taking care of the ball actually paid off and they applied in the game. And because of that, hopefully my young women can have some confidence knowing that, we're actually getting better in practice and we're getting better as a team, again, as March is coming around the corner, because that's my ultimate goal for this team.
Coach, you touched on it before, but how important will it be for your post player to stay out of foul trouble, especially with Texas' size? So.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. But if it does happen, I mean, that's the battle, I think, in this game. You got to be willing. You got to fight, right? And I said this. You got to play to win. So within that, sometimes foul troubles occur. It happened in the Florida game, so it's not going to be a shock for us if it does occur. Other people got to step up, and this is where I've said I love my team as much as I've bragged about Texas and the way they can win ugly or they can win very big. We can too. If Medina gets in foul trouble, I've got Nair and Kayla who've gave great minutes. We've got multiple defenses we can go to try to cover. But ultimately, it's not so much foul trouble for me. It's going to come down to rebounding.
Just this opportunity of facing the number 1 team, what do you think a win would mean for this season, this program, kind of big picture as you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, every win's a big one. That's I don't want to magnify one or the other, because ultimately it's all about playing in March and winning that big one, right? You can't. I think we learned that lesson from last year in the LSU, that one game can't defy your season, right? So as much as that LSU game was awesome to win it here, every one of my kids would have gave everything to be in the NCAA tournament. So it's just perspective. Again, like I said, it's cool. It's cool for the storyboards, the storylines, the things that are going to bring attention to this game. But again, at the end of the day, it's Texas versus Mississippi State, and it just happens to be another game on the SEC schedule, which was really good.
Any more questions? Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you.